Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. I've got some top-level ladder action coming your way this afternoon, chaps, but first of all, quick message going out to all you Facebookers out there. Guys, if you didn't already know, Forged Alliance Forever, the lobby, has its own Facebook page. You can find that at facebook.com/Forged Alliance Forever. It's a great place to get all your media updates from the server maintenance, downtimes, etc., news on patches, all of that kind of jazz. You know the deal. And you can find that at facebook.com/Forged Alliance Forever, or just type Forged Alliance Forever into the search function, should bring it up. And importantly, guys, at the timing of this cast, it's currently sitting at 1,998 likes, so it needs just a couple more of you to bin a couple of likes on there to hit the very sensual figure of 2K. So get on it, guys. I know you've got it in you. And of course, if you feel so inclined, I've also got my own little Facebook page. You can find that at facebook.com/Gylecast, or just type Gylecast into Facebook search function, and that should bring it up too. Awesome. Back to today's game. It's going to take place on Tag's Craftiest Maximus, because that map is frickin' awesome. So let's go over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Absolutely love this map. There's nothing not to like about this map as far as I'm concerned. It is absolutely perfect. It's got everything you could want. A large band of water around the edge for decent naval battles. These little segregated islands just to make life a little bit more annoying for players having to individually drop on there and hold these mexes. And there's a decent number of mexes up there to hold, or down here to hold as well, so you can't really just write them off. It's equally good as a 1v1, 2v2 or 3v3. And these separated kind of channels make for separated individual zones of conflict, so attention spans are stretched to the max, so it makes life very difficult for players, and it's great fun to watch. Anyway, let's take a look at the players. Over here at the top left in the blue corner, it's my good friend and fellow caster TA4life. He's back to his very customary Aeon, going first land. Nice to see, actually. He experimented a while with those smelly Cyberans, very toxic. But he's back to normal now. Always good to see. Anyway, he's on the business, as I say, going first land and facing off against FailPro in the red corner, also going Aeon, so it's a mirror matchup. He's opening first land and going second air. We've seen quite a bit of this guy recently as too. This guy knows how to play the game, and you can see there's not a great deal between. In fact, there's hardly anything between them in 1v1 ladder rankings, so this should be an interesting game. He's moving way out west with his ACU for an early maneuver, going to pick up 3 mexes on the way and grab a factory down there. He's looking to secure this bottom left-hand corner, I suspect. TA4life wants to keep an eye on what's happening on this bottom quadrant of the map. He's already got a combat scout, sorry, just a regular scout, a spirit in place there on the ridge. And the interesting thing about this map, of course, the small units like the spirit are afforded excellent protection by this little ridge of relief of the land that runs along the top of the plateaus, so it can sit there all day and that ACU is never going to get to it. If we take a look at what TA4life can see, he can see everything, so he knows the location of FailPro's ACU. It'll be interesting to see how he responds. He'll know that he's stretching out and going for this bottom corner. In the meantime, FailPro's also moved up to the top right with a single engineer. He's got a couple of Auroras in the spirit down here for protection detail, but he's busy grabbing the top right starting locations, that redundant starting place, with that single engineer, extra 4 mass points in there. And if he can cut this side off down here as well, he's going to have TA fighting a uphill battle, so that's his plan. However, his single solitary spirit with accompanying Auroras is about to face off against superior numbers. TA shuffling more Auroras further right, so I don't see FailPro hanging on to this unless he somehow manages to get a Ruptor in place. Nice T1 PD, but it's a little bit of a tall order to get that up nice and quickly. So far, though, 29 to 28 mass, fluctuating slightly, but basically not a lot in it between these two players. Very close indeed. As well, you'd expect it to be approaching the 5-minute mark. It's not a lot of time for things to diverge. But both these guys are cranking out the interceptors. One single bomber came out there for FailPro, did dispatch that combat scout. I think that is the smouldering wreck of what's left. But that eliminated the intel, but the intel that was gleaned was enough for TA to decide to march his comm south, so he's not going to lay down and let FailPro take this bottom corner. He's going to fight for it, and you can see he's queued up a nice chunky row of land factories there. He's going to get a radar system first to replace that lost intel. But both these guys working on naval factories, one already operational over in the west there for TA. FailPro throwing one down kind of center south, and another one over in the east as well. So FailPro looking to grab a naval option on both corners of his starting location. TA for the moment being a little bit more conservative, going for just one over in the far west. Of course, grabbing the control of the oceans on this map is enhanced by the fact that there is a ton of mass sitting actually under the water. Forget the islands, but there's also the block of three, and then twos either side there, and this extra one. So that's a lot of extra mass points if you can hang on to it. So a naval game is pretty important on this map. You can decide not to go navy if you're sure your opponent isn't, but if you see him building, you must go, otherwise you will not last. FailPro and TA getting their ACU action on now for the first time in this game, minute 7. FailPro, the first one to drop down into the yellow. He has a full back position under construction. One engineer working on this eruptor. A second one turns up to assist it. TA4life doing a little bit better. He's on around 7,200. FailPro on around 6,300. So he definitely took a little bit more damage in that so far. But you can see TA really burning out this top right-hand corner. Those mass points that got claimed earlier on, a thing of the past. The odd bomber sprouting out and flying around for FailPro. He's not going to get too much done. There's a lot of interceptors on the map now for TA. FailPro marching forward and assaulting this newly constructed base of TA's. He needs to be careful. He's shed quite a few HPs, down to around 4.5k. But both these guys sporting decent amounts of T1 with fervors in the mix as well. Mobile light artillery, so these groups of units very adept at taking down structures. And this is looking pretty successful for FailPro at the moment. As long as he doesn't lose too many more hit points off his commander, he's in reasonable shape. If his commander has to retreat, then TA can brush aside all of this with his comm. But if he can keep it in the mix here, he's standing in good stead to grab this bottom left. TA4life is down to just the 2 factories, and all 4 of these back here operational for FailPro. So he's got a lot more build capacity down there on that side of the map. Could do a lot worse though than to deny these 4 mass points. Currently TA4life just slightly ahead of FailPro in mass, 67 mass to 63. You could get a couple of units down there to take them out, that'd be nice, but TA4life's well aware of the vulnerability of that. That's why he stationed a few extra units down there. And it seems as though TA's not being too aggressive with his comm, at least not for the moment. Playing it cautious. Don't blame him, I would be too, but he has started to erect a large number of naval factories further back, so he's definitely centering this as his naval base, but he's also building another set of naval factories up here as well. And FailPro with a couple of subs nearby could do with moving those in and taking that down ASAP. But FailPro sneaking ahead in the mass game so far, and you can start to see what I was talking about earlier, the multiple fronts. We've got a little bit of a sub-war up here, a little bit down here, but large zones of conflict on the bottom left and top right of this map at the moment. FailPro looking like he's really grabbing the initiative, the northeastern corner of this map. If he can get some engineers up here and place a couple of factories, he'll be in really good shape to start pinning TA back to his corner. And you start doing that, you start denying map control and hopefully eating into the economy of your opponent, of course. TA moving back out now with this commander with a bit of purpose. Not going to attack though, not at least at the moment. That one eruptor annoyingly situated for him, but he's got a ton of fervors down here. Really should just skirt those forwards and use them to take out that PD, which it looks like he might be planning, going after the landed interceptors first. Down goes the point defense. And FailPro has made the transition to T2, that HQ right on the front line down here at the bottom left-hand corner, but he's using it to produce, at the moment, Obsidians. He has made one T2 engineer that's allowed him to get an Oblivion turret in place, and that will lend him a lot of extra firepower down here, which is a good thing too. TA was starting to build up a critical mass of units, and that could have caused real headaches for him. Meanwhile, the naval factories up here at the top for TA4life has succumbed to that Aurora attack that pushed on from the top right-hand corner and then through this beach section. TA's responding with a frigate and some extra Auroras of his own. I think he'll be able to deal with that without any real difficulties. There are these sylphs running around for FailPro, but TA's certainly got enough of his own to deal with them. Taking a look at where we're at now. Is that a bottlenecking on power that's causing that? No, it's not. TA4life down to around 52 mass. FailPro on 73. That's a nasty little deficit he's facing at the moment. And he's also facing a tech deficit down here as well, remember. Those T2 tanks, those Obsidians, so very nasty, so very tanky. Tons of Alpha Strike damage. Now making the appearance on the field. Could make life very difficult down there, but FailPro must attack. He needs to seize the advantage he's got right now down here at the bottom left-hand edge of the main landmass. Basically, mostly T1 spam fighting over here, backwards and forwards between these two guys. FailPro not shuffling any extra tech up that way, at least not at the moment. Finally, he's going to make a push on this bottom left corner. Aurora's no match for the Obsidians whatsoever. Hydrocarbon goes down as well, so does that last mass point. Both of these guys starting to go for these islands now. TA going slower, one at a time, and erecting defense as well, and intel structures as he goes. Whereas FailPro's gone all out, one engineer on each. Grab that mass. You can afford to do so, of course. There's been much more fighting going on around this area of the map than around these three islands, which is probably a nice maneuver. That's why I think you want to be sending your ACU out this way on Craftius Maximus in ladder. You send your ACU out this way, or if you're on the top, you go out this way, and you stop your opponent from coming around and putting pressure on these sections up here. There's a lot of mass that could be under threat if your opponent can break through with any kind of floating units through this beach section. But FailPro pushing up now with these Obsidians. TA wants to limit the damage. He was looking to wall all that off, but he changes tack and starts producing point defense instead. It's not going to finish that wall section, at least not at the moment. FailPro slowly running out of units. Now that that Eruptor's been finished, it should be enough to repel this attack. FailPro definitely doesn't want to get overexcited with the progress he's made and throw away the advantage, but once again the tables have turned up here at the northeastern corner. This little push down through the middle has forced FailPro to pull back with the majority of the spam on this side of the map and guard this central walkway, or central valley I should say. But that naval factory in the far east has gone down now for FailPro. Has been taken out. Combination of sylphs and the odd Aurora. And it's still looking incredibly even in terms of map control, but in terms of mass, that's a significant advantage, 30% or so in favor of FailPro. And at the moment, things starting to go his way as well, especially in this middle valley section. And as soon as I say that, curse of the commentator, that push grinds to a halt and he's forced to retreat. But things looking good in terms of eco for FailPro, but not looking great on the high seas. He's down to just 2 naval factories, and look at that, that's absolutely hideous. The huge, it's like a tumor on the side of that, the new HQ. It's the first time I've noticed it, the Aeon HQ T2. I wonder if it comes out the other side. Maybe T3 it just gets malignant. But that's absolutely horrible, but far be it from me to criticize the mighty Aeon for their architecture. Nice little run by though over in the west from FailPro, still using those obsidians to great effect. TA trying to chase those down with combination of Aurora's fervors, but the odd blaze turning up as well. So TA has his T2 land factory HQ, and they've come right the way back to the core base. Could have taken down that power gen, that would have been very handy, but look at this, there's so many naval units, and with the tide turning at minute 21, yes, FailPro's ahead on eco, yes, eco is absolutely essential, but so is Navy on a map like this, and if these naval factories are allowed to succumb to this pressure, FailPro will be landlocked and under pressure. He will have no more entry onto the seas. That means these core 6 back mexes become vulnerable, and all TA4life has to do is upgrade to T2 Navy, and he can bombard the main base with Exodus destroyers or indeed cruisers. A major problem for FailPro, losing the naval side of this. Definitely didn't want to do that. And TA4life only just bagging this top right island. These haven't been destroyed. You can see there's no wrecks on there. He's only just going for it now. Hasn't needed it. Just shows you it's not always about the eco. Gotta think all of the angles on the map. Astonishingly, he seems to be losing on the ground as well. There's a large body of troops that FailPro's got, but he is now officially behind. Tables have turned dramatically. TA4life 87 mass, FailPro 68 odd. Fluctuations, of course. We'll take a look at how the reclaim has gone. 22,500 for TA
Commander
and just
under attack.
4,000 for FailPro. So I think it's fair to say reclaim has had a massive impact on this game. That's a significant amount of mass TA's got that has really gone a long way to mitigate that period where he was sitting at a mass deficit. Now we've got Spectres on the field and Swift Winds, so TA sitting comfortably in T2 air. He's got the naval advantage, and the land is going in his favor as well now. FailPro perhaps just focused a little bit too much on this bottom left corner. Of course, though, not saying the game is over yet. Comebacks do happen. But if I was in FailPro's position, I would be trying to think about how I could get a snipe together. Sounds like TA's having some problems with a mouse or something. His battery's dying. Maybe he was on a laptop. And he's now sitting at T3 and starting to produce harbingers. That's a lot of build capacity on that land HQ. How are we doing in terms of tech for FailPro? So he's got T3 as well. He's also producing halves, and he's also on T2 air. He's not currently producing Swift Winds. He's sticking with interceptors, so he's kept up with the tech, but he's just running out of units. Still not seeing any T2 Navy from TA. and that would really surely finish this game off. Some Aeon cruisers and destroyers bombarding these positions. There's very little FailPro could do about it. You have to start spamming miasmas, and I think when that starts happening, you generally know, especially at this level of gameplay, you've probably lost. You're playing conservatively, you're cornering yourself into the map and going turtle. That means you're not expanding, not grabbing the resources, which of course are essential for victory. The odd harb now joining the battle. TA might be on the front foot in this, but it's still FailPro's keeping up with the mass. You've got to give it to him. He's managing to tech up his eco, which is absolutely essential, and he's starting to produce skimmers, the T2 torpedo bombers for Aeon. Going after this navy. Going to take out these attack boats first of all. They're going to pressure the air units. That's all well and good, but if cruisers start to turn up, and I think they will, that's an upgrade that's 85% complete on that naval factory. Then it's surely going to be game. But what is going on in this land game suddenly? FailPro making a push. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 harbingers in this mix. He has got a couple of harbs he's facing off against. In fact, 4 harbs he's facing up against right there. Looked like he was gaining more traction on that side of the map. We've actually got TAC missile launchers right here for FailPro, so he has sunk quite a lot of mass into that. See if can spot the eco. In fact, I think he's probably already used them. I might have missed that. This is core T1 mexes in the main base for TA. I can only imagine that FailPro's already sniped those mass points, and that's what's allowed him to get back into this game slightly. He's managed to claw back the top right. Very nice indeed. Now we're starting to see some T3 mobile artillery, some Serenities on the field. You can see there are already volcanoes kind of dotted around in here for TA, so I'm imagining he's already sustained an attack. These naval units being forced away from the main base thanks to the odd Spectre and Skimmer, gunship and torpedo bomber. We are starting to see some T2 naval units in production. But look at this. Harbs on the move. He could take out that factory. That would be quite the coup, but instead he's going straight towards the back of the base. There are the power plants back here, which would be a very nice grab indeed. He knows he's got the power. Boom. Takes TA4life down to 1.9k. Does drop him down into minus 300 net. TA trying to rectify it there. He does manage to clean out that little infestation. That's a lot of harbs over here. And FailPro needs to be a little bit careful. He's got his commander quite far forward up here, and by himself he's starting to throw together some Oblivion turrets. Wants to make sure this merry band of units aren't going to push their luck and waltz into the main base. Not that he's got that much. I mean, he's pretty underdeveloped down here. Most of the building has been on this side. It's where his main power generation is coming from. I'm wondering if this little success on this side has been a blip in TA's performance, and he might just be about to turn it back around, but we'll have to see. Major power issues with something apparently for TA. Now we finally start to see a cruiser on the field make life difficult for FailPro. There is already an Exodus down here, a destroyer. Excellent range, excellent damage. Really very good for bombarding. I think that's the avenue that TA really wants to exploit now. More attack missiles coming in. It's interesting that attack missile defense didn't seem to deal with it. Quite a few destroyed factories down here. And now this is major headaches. I have no idea how FailPro is going to deal with that navy that's on the doorstep. He's had some success, but I just don't see him dealing with it. He can sit off here and start to build up this T2 navy, and really FailPro's got no counter for it. He's trying to throw together a small attack with some skimmers, but there's so many attack boats in there. Gonna get the odd pass in. Just don't do that much damage on their own. That's the main problem. And FailPro throws up the GG, and Control K's his comm. He knows he's beaten. He knows there's no way back from this issue. And that is why getting naval control when you've got a, well, more or less a stalemate on the mainland is absolutely essential. Can really do so much damage to your opponent, as we saw. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. More to come from me, as always, in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.